Hi, my name is Wendy Pettick, and I'm here with my mom and model and my husband Danny. Today I'm going to teach you how to hem your own jeans. The relationship that exists between us and our jeans is a very special one. They are our go-to pants for almost any occasion, and we expect a lot out of them. We want them to not only be fashionable, but also flattering and comfortable. But have you ever had a pair of jeans that were just way too long? Jeans that are not hemmed to a proper length drag on the ground, causing them to get dirty and fray the edges, which takes away from your appearance. However, most tailors charge over $20 just to hem one pair of jeans. Also, the methods that the tailors use cause the jeans to look altered because the hem does not match the rest of the jeans. Today I'm going to teach you a simple and inexpensive way to hem your own jeans with only a few supplies. The supplies that you could use are a sewing machine, some pins, a seam ripper in case you mess up and want to rip it back out, a chalk, and what you use the chalk for is when you're measuring, once you have them on, you can mark with the chalk so that you know that it's even all the way across, and then use the ruler to make sure that it's straight across your jeans. Also, you'll need a gauge, and what this does is it has the measurements on there so that once you've pinned a couple, you can measure and then go all the way around pinning and make sure that it's the same length all the way around that you're hemming. Also, you'll need a pair of scissors and thread. I prefer the Coats & Clark dual duty all-purpose thread. But one of the most important things when you're hemming your jeans is that you pick the right color. With dark jeans such as these, you want to use a navy blue thread, and that keeps you from seeing what you're sewing right here, and you can still see the gold thread that came with the jeans. However, if you have a lighter pair of jeans, you want to use like a baby blue color. But when you're picking your thread, it's better to pick a color that's a shade darker than a shade lighter because it'll show better. Also, you'll need an iron, and what you use the iron for is after you've pinned all the way around the jeans, you want to press your jeans, and that makes it easier to sew over. And then also after you finish sewing, you can press them again, and that helps this to lay flat. There are two options for hemming your jeans. You want to make sure that you have those shoes on that you're going to wear with the pants. And that way you're not hemming them, too far and then they look like high waters. So what you do is you can either stand on them like this and pull them up. And then you place a pin and just put a couple pins around so that it looks the same where you want it all the way around. And you can also, instead of doing it that way, you can also just fold them up to where you want them. And that's a little bit easier if you're doing it by yourself. But for this, we're just going to do it this way. For the sake of time, I've already pinned this one, and I'm just going to show you how this goes. What you want to do is sew right along this edge where it's folded. You have to make sure that you've measured all the way around first, and these are right at 1/2 inch. So you just go all the way around the jeans, and you measure the half of an inch, and then you pin along there. And this is when you could press them, and it usually makes it a little bit easier, but these are already straight. So you place this under the sewing machine and sew right along that edge. You want to make sure that you backstitch when you begin, because that holds the thread and makes sure that it doesn't unravel. So you backstitch at least 3 stitches, and then you go all the way down. Be careful when you go over the side seams because they're really thick and sometimes the sewing machine will get stuck. So you might have to do that part manually. And then when you get to the end, you back stitch another 3 stitches and cut it. And once you've done that, you want to iron it. And that just presses it down so that it lays flat. You can take these pins out. And that's what your jeans will look like once they're finished. When you use this technique, you usually have this flap hanging over, and if you sew more than, say, a ½ inch, it'll show at the bottom of your jeans. So what you need to do to fix that is you can take the scissors and cut this part off all the way down to the seam, and then after that, you can use a zigzag stitch, which is this stitch here. And what that does is it seals the hem so that it doesn't fray. You can also, if you had a serger, use the serger, and what that does is it cuts and seals as you're going along. But that's your finished product there. There are a few cautions to use when you're using this method. It doesn't work very well on stretch jeans because they tend to roll or bell out, and it doesn't tend to work well on other pants other than the jeans. You can do it by hand with just a needle and thread, but make sure that you double your thread so that it's thicker and tie a knot in the end. You probably thought it would be really complicated to hem your own jeans, but now you have learned a simple and inexpensive way to do it yourself. Remember to practice in order to improve your results, but one advantage to this is that if you mess up, you can always rip your seam out and start over again. I hope you have enjoyed learning to hem your own jeans and will use this technique often.